Green family, pay attention. What we're witnessing is not just rising talent, it's the building of a legacy, a young, intense, and ruthless defense that hasn't just lived up to expectations, but is redefining what it means to wear these colors. Play after play, rookie after rookie, they prove they've got fire in their hearts and ice in their minds. And this isn't just about numbers or stats. It's about attitude, about energy, about turning every snap into a statement of identity. They're showing that they don't step onto the field just to compete, but to leave their mark and demand respect. If you believe this new generation is going to define an era, hit that like button right now and drop in the comments. How far can this defense take our team? The sky isn't the limit. It's only the beginning. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now let's dive into what's been going on. The good news is that the Eagles have some rising stars who are already looking like the backbone of the defense. Last season, Philadelphia captured the Super Bowl, largely thanks to a defensive unit that ranked #1 across the league. A big reason for that dominance was Howie Roseman's bold draft moves, selecting Queen Anne Mitchell in the first round and Cooper Dean in the second. Both players didn't just meet expectations, they shattered them. Their rookie seasons were spectacular, capped off with Cooper Dean's unforgettable pick six against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That one play alone set the tone for how high the bar would be for them moving forward. This year, they've elevated their game even further. Queen Anne Mitchell and Dean have been playing at a Pro Bowl, even All-Pro level, through the first stretch of the season. Against Tampa Bay, they delivered performances so dominant that they felt like something out of a highlight reel. Mitchell, in particular, earned NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and when you see his stats, you'll understand why. He played 72 snaps in brutal 100-degree heat, logged more than 50 snaps in coverage, and out of 9 times he was targeted, he allowed just 2 catches for 6 yards. 6 yards in an entire game. He also racked up 5 pass breakups and held opposing quarterbacks to a rating of just 39.6 when throwing his way. According to Pro Football Focus, Mitchell earned a jaw-dropping 91.8 grade, the highest among any corner that week, even outshining established names like Byron Murphy and Charvarius Ward. And it doesn't stop there. Mitchell's advanced metrics are unreal. On 9 targets, he forced 7 tight windows. His tight window percentage tied the highest mark recorded since 2018. Add to that his aggressiveness on the field, jawing at Baker Mayfield, even ripping Tristan Wirfs' helmet off, and you've got a cornerback who's no longer the quiet rookie we saw last season. He's playing with swagger, with intensity, and he's showing leadership qualities that could define him as a cornerstone for years to come. But let's not overlook Cooper Dean, who has been equally impressive. His football IQ is off the charts, and that's why Vic Fangio loves him. Against the Buccaneers, Dean made one of the smartest plays you'll ever see from a young defensive back.
On a flea flicker, a play designed to bait defenses into biting on the run and leaving the deep shot open, Dean read the entire sequence like a seasoned veteran. He knew he had safety help on the deep route, shifted his focus to Chris Godwin crossing the field, and nearly intercepted the ball by jumping the route. Even though it touched the ground, the recognition and instincts he displayed were nothing short of brilliant. Plays like that don't just show talent. They show vision, intelligence, and leadership that most players don't develop until much later in their careers. Together, Mitchell and Dean are becoming one of the most feared young cornerback duos in the league. Against Tampa Bay, between the two of them, they faced 18 targets and allowed only 7 completions for 52 yards. For combined pass breakups and a passer rating allowed under 50 when targeted. Those are elite numbers, and it's why Philadelphia fans should be fired up about what this defense is building. And it's not just about 2 guys. The Eagles' defense as a whole is the youngest unit in the NFL based on playing time. Nolan Smith is 23. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are 24. Jair Brown and other core contributors are in that early 20s range. Even Mitchell at 24 and Dean at just 22 are barely scratching the surface of their potential. What that means for fans is simple. This isn't a one-year flash in the pan. This defense has the potential to dominate for years, maybe even a decade, if they stay healthy and continue to grow under Fangio's system. That's the encouraging news. Philadelphia has the defensive foundation to repeat as champions, and the future looks bright. But here's where we shift gears, because not everything has been perfect. There's a glaring issue that has already cost the Eagles in these opening games and could derail their championship hopes if it isn't addressed quickly. I'm talking about the offensive line. This unit has long been a point of pride for Philadelphia. Year after year, analysts have ranked it among the best in football, a group capable of controlling games and wearing down defenses for 60 minutes. But through the first 4 games of 2025, they haven't looked like themselves. The numbers are shocking. Bottom tier in multiple categories like yards before contact, run block win rate, and pass block efficiency. Saquon Barkley, who had one of the most legendary rushing seasons in league history last year, is now being met in the backfield almost immediately on too many carries. His yards before contact per attempt have plummeted from nearly 4 yards last season to under 1 this year. That's a staggering drop, and it shows just how much this offensive line is struggling. Let's pick it up right where we left off. The Philadelphia Eagles may have a defense that looks like it could dominate for years, but the offensive line right now is the elephant in the room, and unless they fix it, all of that defensive brilliance might go to waste. Here's the thing, this is essentially the same group up front that helped Saquon Barkley run wild last season and gave Jalen Hurts the time he needed to push the offense downfield. The only real change is at right guard, with Tyler Steen stepping in for Mekhi Becton, who's now with the Chargers. At times, Steen has looked athletic and effective. Some of Barkley's touchdowns have come running behind him, but he's been inconsistent. And inconsistency at the guard spot can destroy the rhythm of an offensive line. What makes this even more concerning is the investment the Eagles have in this unit. Jordan Mailata has been excellent, one of the top-rated linemen in football. Lane Johnson, when healthy, has still played at a very high level. But Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and Steen have all been major question marks. These aren't guys playing on rookie deals anymore. There's big money tied up in the interior, and right now they're not performing anywhere near their contracts. The raw numbers tell the story. The interior trio of Dickerson, Jurgens, and Steen has given up a combined 26 pressures already this season. That's not sustainable. When pressure comes up the middle, it destroys a passing attack. It collapses the pocket immediately, it muddies the quarterback's vision, and it forces rushed decisions. For Jalen Hurts, a shorter quarterback who relies on timing and clean throwing lanes, that interior breakdown is a nightmare. It explains why we've seen him sacked more often and why the passing game hasn't been consistent. It's not about Hurts regressing. It's about him fighting through a collapsing pocket from the jump. Landon Dickerson's struggles in particular are glaring. He's playing through what looks like a nagging injury, but the results have been disastrous. Through 4 games, his pass blocking grades have been alarmingly low, hovering between 39 and 56. He's already allowed 3 sacks and 13 pressures this season, putting him on pace to give up more than double his career high in sacks allowed. That kind of drop-off from a player who is supposed to anchor the left side is one of the main reasons this line feels so unstable. And then there's the ripple effect. Barkley, despite still showing the burst and explosion he had last year, is running into a wall every time he gets the ball. In 2024, he led the NFL in yards before contact, picking up nearly 4 yards before a defender could even touch him. This year, that number has fallen under 1 yard. That means defenders are meeting him at or behind the line of scrimmage almost immediately. It's why he hasn't been able to rip off those 40 or 50-yard runs that became his trademark last season. He looks ready to make them, but the lanes just aren't there. It's easy to say defenses are stacking the box to stop Barkley, and yes, that's part of it. But last year, teams did the exact same thing, and the offensive line still opened up holes. The difference is execution. Right now, Philadelphia's offensive linemen aren't winning their one-on-one matchups. They're missing assignments, they're blowing protections, and they aren't syncing as a unit. For a team that has prided itself on being the most physical in the trenches, that's a shocking reversal. And what makes it even more dangerous is the timing. This week, the Eagles face a Denver Broncos defense that has been lights out. They're number 2 in points allowed per game, and number 1 in sacks, quarterback hits, and pressure rate. This isn't the matchup you want when your offensive line is already struggling. If Philadelphia's front 5 don't elevate their game, it could be a very long afternoon for Jalen Hurts and Barkley. But here's the bigger picture. If this doesn't get fixed, it could derail the entire season. The Eagles' offense has shown flashes, big quarters, strong drives, but it's been inconsistent because everything starts up front. You can't unleash A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, or Dallas Goedert in the passing game if Hurts doesn't have time. You can't lean on Barkley to control games if the running lanes are clogged before the play even begins. And while Jeff Stoutland is still considered the best defensive line coach in football, even he has his work cut out for him. He's dealt with young players before, he's rebuilt lines before, but this situation isn't about lack of talent, it's about execution. The veterans aren't performing, and the younger players haven't found consistency. That's a dangerous mix for a team with championship expectations. So Eagles fans, here's the challenge I want to throw to you. Can this offensive line rediscover its identity in time to keep the team on track for another Super Bowl? Or do you think the problems run deeper than just execution and health? Drop your thoughts below, because I want to hear from you. And before you go, don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Smash the like if you're proud to be part of the Eagles community, and make sure to stick around for the next video popping up on your screen. We'll keep breaking it all down right here. And here's the truth, Eagles fans, this is the type of problem that doesn't just go away overnight. It's going to take adjustments, accountability, and maybe even some tough decisions from the coaching staff. Nick Sirianni and Jeff Stoutland need to figure out if this is a scheme issue, a health issue, or simply players not living up to their billing. Because if you look at the tape, it's clear. The Eagles aren't losing because of effort, they're losing because of execution. And when you're a team with Super Bowl aspirations, that margin for error is razor thin. What's frustrating is that everything else looks ready. The defense is built to carry this team deep into the playoffs. Jalen Hurts, even while under fire, has shown resilience and flashes of brilliance. Barkley looks like the same explosive back who tore up the league last year. A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith are still one of the top wide receiver duos in football, and Dallas Goedert remains a reliable weapon at tight end. The talent is undeniable. The formula for success is right there. But football is a game that starts in the trenches, and right now, the offensive line is keeping the rest of the roster from reaching its potential. The good news is that it's still early in the season. For games don't define a year. We've seen teams struggle out of the gate before, only to catch fire in the middle of the year and roll into the playoffs with momentum. The Eagles have the coaching, the veteran leadership, and the raw talent to fix this. But it has to start now. The longer this issue lingers, the harder it becomes to correct. Think about it. If Philadelphia can get this offensive line back to even 80% of what it was last season, Barkley's numbers will bounce back,